Hi there, I'm Clayton with Forbes AAC, and today I'm excited to show you a brand new and innovative product called the Extender Auxiliary Battery Pack, as well as our new next generation Winslate AAC device. We're going to talk about how these two can work together and complement one another. So let's first look at the Winslate. This is the new Winslate that we just released a couple weeks ago, and we're really excited about it. As you can see, it's really thin and it's extremely lightweight as well. So with the Enableize eye tracker installed, it's less than 3.5 pounds. Without the eye tracker, it's less than 3 pounds. And that's a big deal because for our AAC users that are ambulatory and they're using their Winslate maybe as a touch access device and aren't using the eye tracker, they need something that's very easy to carry. Even for our eye tracking users though, they're usually having the device installed on something like this wheelchair mount or a rolling floor mount, but somebody is always taking that on and off, and it's usually a husband or a wife or some type of facilitator. So it's important that these devices are lightweight and easy to handle. The challenge though is when you're designing an AAC device, how do you keep the device very thin and very lightweight, yet give it amazing battery runtime? So with the new Winslate, we had the option of either adding a battery to the back of the device or figuring out a different way of mounting the battery. And we didn't want to add any more weight to the device. We see that with other devices out there where they're bigger and they're heavy and they're hard to handle. So what we came up with is this Extender Auxiliary Battery Pack. And the cool thing about it is not only does it charge the Winslate and give the Winslate phenomenal run times over 16 hours with continuous eye tracking, which is kind of your worst case scenario. But the really cool thing is how it mounts. So knowing that most of our eye tracking users will have a wheelchair mount or a rolling floor mount, what we've designed the battery to do is clamp right on to that wheelchair mount. So imagine this is the tube. This is a sample piece of tubing for the wheelchair mount, the 7/8 tube. What you can do is just push the straps right onto the mount tube, and you can hear them click into place. And then we have these locking clamps I could push down, and another one here. And what that does is really rigidly affixes that battery pack to the tube. And the functional need for that, say you're riding the wheelchair down a bumpy sidewalk and the chair's shaking and the Winslate's shaking, you want to make sure that the battery doesn't move on the mount tube. So it's a very rigid attachment, and I'll show you how we can use it on the actual wheelchair with the device. The battery pack has a charge cord that goes from the battery to the Winslate. So when it's plugged into the Winslate, it's continuously charging the internal battery of the Winslate, which is really nice because if you have it on for a while, then you take the Winslate off, now your Winslate battery is charged and ready to go. So let's look at this. I'm going to move the camera a little closer. There we go. Okay, I talked earlier about the importance of being lightweight for taking the device on and off of the wheelchair mount. And here's a perfect example. I have to install this mount plate into the device adapter here, and what I have to do is reach over, and you can see I'm reaching out very far, and any little bit of weight feels like a lot. And I could actually, with the Winslate being so light, I can install that with one hand. Some of the other devices that are 4, 5, 6 pounds or greater, that's a real challenge to do without feeling like your arm's gonna break off. So that's nice that it's really light. And then I'm gonna attach this extender battery pack to one of the wheelchair mount tubes. I have some options. I could either mount to this vertical tube down here. If I did that, I would run the cabling up the tube and then onto the side of the Winslate. Or better yet, I'll just mount right to this tube behind the Winslate so that I don't have so much cabling. So I'm going to open up my clamps, and I just bring it up to the tube here, push it in place, and then you can see it's kind of rotating around the tube. That's okay, I could leave it loose until I get the right orientation and position. So I'm going to slide it closer, and I need a little bit more of the cord. There we go. So I unraveled the cord a little bit. I'm going to plug it right into the Winslate like that. And now that it's in a good position, I can lock those clamps. And you can see with those in place, that battery pack is not going anywhere, even if I'm on a bumpy sidewalk or something like that. And the really cool thing that we experience here is the the cord is actually magnetically attached to the wind slate. So if somebody accidentally pulls off the device and forgets to unplug the battery pack, it's not going to damage the port. So I can just kind of yank this right off and it just comes unplugged and no damage has been done, which is great. And then I want to show you one other way that you can use the battery pack if you're not using a wheelchair mount. So I'm going to unclip the battery pack. So say you're using the wind slate as a touch device or maybe one of our Pro Slates and you don't really need the mounting aspect of this. I can also remove these mounting clips. So I'm going to first pull the wire out of the cord management area here. I'm going to remove the wire. And then what I could do is just pop these end caps off like that. And now I have a battery pack that's very thin and easy to carry in something like a purse or a book bag or something like that. So that is the Xtender battery pack. I think it's going to give a lot of independence to users. Perfect example, if you have somebody that's a communicator, needs to communicate all day, like somebody in school or out in the community, they won't have to be tethered to a wall outlet anymore. So maybe 8 hours of using their device goes by and now the device is dead. You could start just using this Xtender battery pack and it will replenish the battery in the AAC device and keep them communicating for longer. This is billable. We've billed this through Medicaid and through Medicare. We have to medically justify it, of course, as a medical need, which for the right users is pretty easy to do. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the battery pack. Thank you.